Thinking clearly isn't just about having ideas. It's about how those ideas shape your actions and your life. The way you think controls your decisions, your emotions, and your success. If your mind is full of distractions or confusion, it's hard to move forward. But when you learn to focus, to control your thoughts, and to remove what holds you back, everything changes. This video will show you exactly how to build that control, how to sharpen your focus, and how to train your mind to work for you, not against you. Stick with me, and you'll discover practical ways to take charge of your thinking so you can take charge of your life. This isn't about quick fixes or empty advice. It's about real, lasting changes that anyone can make. Let's dive into how you can think correctly and get the results you want. Number 1, train your mind to think with purpose every day. Most people go through their entire day without stopping to think about what they're actually thinking. They just move from one thing to the next. They wake up, they check their phone, they go to work, they handle problems, they talk to people, they get through the day, and the mind runs in the background without any direction. It just reacts. It pulls old thoughts from yesterday. It picks up fear, doubt, pressure, frustration, and it all becomes automatic. That's where people go wrong. That's how people end up frustrated, stuck, and tired. Not because they don't work hard, but because their mind is running without purpose. If you want a better life, you have to think better first. You have to train your mind to think with purpose every single day. You don't get strong by accident. You don't get wise by chance. You get there by effort and practice. Just like your body needs training, your mind needs training too. Left on its own, the mind drifts. It gets lazy. It chooses comfort. It avoids hard truths. It fears uncertainty. And unless you step in and direct it, it'll keep pulling you down. Thinking with purpose means you wake up and decide what matters. You decide what you want to focus on. You decide what you're going to give your energy to. You don't just let thoughts fly in and take over. You stop and ask, is this thought helping me? Is this thought pushing me forward? Is this thought keeping me on track with the person I'm trying to become? Most people never ask that. They just feel a thought and they follow it. They never question it. And that's why they live in circles. Same doubts, same reactions, same outcomes. You have to be aware of what your mind is doing. You have to notice the pattern. When your thinking starts drifting toward the past, when your thoughts start feeding your anger, when your focus moves to what you can't control, you need to catch it. You need to stop and redirect. That's mental training. That's discipline. It's not complicated, but it does take work, and you've got to do that work every day. You don't need to think about everything. You need to think about the right things. You need to think about where you're going, not just where you've been. You need to think about your next move, not just your last mistake. You need to think about what you can do right now, not what someone said yesterday. That's how you move forward. That's how you stop wasting time on thoughts that don't deserve you. Train your mind to come back to the goal. Come back to the vision. Come back to the values you set. If you want to grow, your mind has to lead you there. And it won't happen if your mind is scattered all day. Too many people let their day control their thoughts. Someone says something rude and their whole focus shifts. Something inconvenient happens and they lose all discipline. That's not thinking with purpose. That's reacting to life. And reacting won't build anything lasting. When your mind is trained, you don't panic when things go wrong. You don't fall apart when something unexpected happens. You stay grounded. You stay clear. You stay focused. You know what you're doing and why you're doing it. That clarity gives you strength. It gives you peace. It gives you power. And it's not about being perfect. You're going to have days where your mind slips. You're going to feel frustration. You're going to feel tired. That's part of being human. But the difference is, you catch it now. You notice it faster. You come back quicker. You remind yourself what matters. You train your thinking to recover, not spiral. That's a skill worth having. If you don't train your mind with purpose, someone else will train it for you. Social media will tell you what to think. The news will tell you what to fear. Strangers will tell you who you should be. The past will tell you what you can't do. And all of that noise will fill your head and shape your life, unless you take control of it. That's why this is serious. This isn't just a nice idea. This is survival. This is direction. This is your responsibility. Start small. Start with 5 minutes each morning. Sit down and write what matters to you. Write what you want to focus on. Write how you want to think today. Then throughout the day, check in. Am I thinking on purpose right now? Or am I letting distractions control me? Am I using my mind to move forward? Or am I letting it pull me back into fear, or comfort, or old habits? That self-check makes all the difference. And don't wait until life forces you to change your thinking. Don't wait until you hit rock bottom. Don't wait until everything falls apart. Start now. Build that strength now. Because life will test you. Life will press you. And the mind you've trained will be the mind that helps you rise. If your thinking is clear, no challenge can keep you stuck for long. If your thinking is steady, no failure can keep you down forever. People think success is about talent, or money, or luck. But more often than not, it's about clarity. It's about direction. It's about focus. And those things come from training the mind, from deciding every day to think with purpose, from choosing your thoughts the way you choose your words, from setting the tone in your own head before the world sets it for you. You've got a life to live. You've got things to build. You've got goals that mean something to you. And none of that is going to come to life if your mind stays scattered. You've got to get serious about how you think. You've got to stop waiting for the right mindset to just show up. You build it, you practice it, you train it, and the more you do, the more powerful you become. Not louder, not tougher, but more focused, more consistent, more solid. A person who knows where they're going, because their thinking leads the way. A person who rises, not by chance, but by choice. A person who's not held back by doubt, fear, or distraction, because their mind is trained to think with purpose every day. Number 2, break the habit of reacting without thinking things through. Every day, people are triggered. Someone says something, a message shows up, a situation doesn't go their way, and before they stop to think, they're already reacting. Their face tightens, their voice rises, their mind floods with judgment. They respond with emotion, not reflection. And most of the time, they regret it later. That moment, where they could have paused and chosen a better response, gets lost because the habit of reacting is too strong. It's like their mind hits a switch before they even know what happened. But you can't keep living like that if you want to grow. If you want peace, if you want self-respect, if you want strength, you have to break that pattern. You have to teach yourself to slow down. You have to learn to think before you speak, to step back before you act, to see the situation from a higher place. You're not just reacting to others, you're setting the tone for who you are becoming. And if your life is built on emotional reactions, then you're building it on shaky ground. The real problem is that reacting feels natural. It's fast. It's easy. It gives a quick release. You feel anger and your voice responds. You feel insulted and you defend yourself. You feel stress and you take it out on someone else. But none of that leads to peace. None of that leads to clarity. It just keeps you in a cycle where you're controlled by everything around you. That's no way to live. When you react without thinking, you give your power away. You let someone else's words or behavior decide how you show up. You let pressure control your character. You let small things ruin your entire day. And over time, Those moments pile up. You hurt people. You lose focus. You lose trust in yourself, because deep down, you know you could have done better. You could have paused. You could have responded with patience, or understanding, or silence. But the habit took over, and habits don't change on their own. To break that habit, you have to interrupt it. You have to start by noticing it. When your body tenses up, when your heart starts racing, when your voice wants to jump out, pause. Even 3 seconds of stillness can change everything. 3 seconds where you breathe instead of explode. 3 seconds where you ask yourself, what do I really want to say here? What matters most right now? Am I acting from emotion or from principle? That moment of pause gives you back control. It puts you in charge again. It takes discipline to stay calm when your emotions want to lead. It takes strength to stay respectful when someone is being difficult. It takes awareness to see the difference between impulse and wisdom. That's the kind of inner work most people never do. They just keep blaming circumstances, blaming other people, blaming the world. But the real breakthrough happens when you take responsibility for your reaction. When you say, that's on me, I need to respond better. I need to think this through. This doesn't mean you never speak up. It doesn't mean you hold everything in. It means you choose how to respond in a way that reflects your highest standard. You don't yell just because someone yelled. You don't insult because someone was rude. You don't rush into decisions because you feel pressure. You wait until you're clear. You wait until your mind catches up to your emotions. You act, not to win the moment, but to stay aligned with who you're trying to be. People respect that kind of strength. And more importantly, you start respecting yourself. You stop saying things you wish you could take back. You stop making choices that only lead to more problems. You stop waking up with regret over how you handled something the day before. Because now you've built the habit of thinking it through. Now your actions are based on clarity, not confusion. It's not just about avoiding mistakes. It's about building a life that feels solid. A life where you are trusted, where people feel safe around you, where your words carry weight, because they come from a place of thoughtfulness, not impulse. That's not something you buy or fake. That's something you earn. You earn it every time you choose to pause instead of explode. Every time you decide to respond with wisdom instead of reaction. Every time you remember that your peace is more valuable than proving the point. You don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to let every emotion pull you into conflict. Sometimes the strongest move is to stay calm. Sometimes silence is more powerful than shouting. Sometimes taking a walk is smarter than getting into an argument. You're not here to win every debate. You're here to live a strong life. And strength means self-control. You may feel frustrated, angry, disrespected, but that's not the time to act. That's the time to think. That's the time to check in with yourself. What outcome do you want here? What would the strongest version of you do right now? That question can save you from so much trouble. That question can keep you from ruining relationships, losing opportunities, or sinking into regret. The good news is that this habit can be changed, but it starts with awareness. Every time you feel that urge to snap, to jump, to fire back, use it as a signal. That's your cue to pause. That's your cue to breathe. That's your chance to rise above. Not for them, for you. Because your life gets better when your thinking gets clearer. When you stop reacting and start choosing. This is what maturity looks like. Not age, not experience, discipline, emotional control, thoughtful responses. The ability to stay centered when life isn't easy. And that ability gets stronger every time you use it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be better than yesterday. Catch yourself faster. Think a little longer. Respond a little wiser. Over time, those small changes become a new way of living. You're not your reactions. You're not your first impulse. You're the person who decides what comes next. You get to decide what kind of energy you bring, what kind of tone you set, what kind of presence you leave behind. in every room you walk into. That's not a small thing. That shapes how people see you. But more importantly, it shapes how you see yourself. That's where strength lives. Not in how loud you are, but in how steady you are when everything around you wants to pull you off course. Number 3, learn to question thoughts that weaken your discipline. Discipline is not something you build once and forget. It's something you protect every single day. And the biggest threat to your discipline isn't outside pressure or physical distractions. It's the quiet voice in your own mind telling you it's okay to quit, delay, or give less effort. That voice doesn't scream. It whispers. It sounds reasonable. It sounds like comfort. It says things like, just this once, or you've done enough, or it won't make a big difference. If you don't learn to question those thoughts, they will start controlling your actions before you even realize it. You cannot trust every thought that passes through your mind, especially the ones that come up when you feel tired, uncomfortable, or uncertain. Those thoughts aren't guiding you toward strength. They're pulling you toward ease. They don't come to help you rise. They come to make you settle. That's why the real work of discipline starts with thinking. Before it ever shows up in your actions, it starts in your head. You have to stop treating every thought as if it's true. Just because something feels real doesn't mean it's useful. When you think, I'll never catch up, or this is too hard, or I deserve a break right now, you have to slow down and challenge it. Where is that thought coming from? What is it trying to protect you from? Is it leading you toward your goals or pulling you away from them? That's how you train your mind to serve your growth, not your comfort. Most people never question their inner voice. They just accept it. If a thought says rest, they rest. If a thought says skip the work, they skip it. If a thought says give up, they stop. But if you want to become someone others can count on, if you want to become someone you can count on, then you have to hold your thinking to a higher standard. Don't just listen to your thoughts. Interrogate them. Ask yourself, would my future self thank me for believing this thought? Is this thought helping me stay committed or making excuses for me? Is this thought based on facts or just emotions? These questions change everything. They create a space between the thought and the reaction. And in that space, you get your power back. You get the power to choose a better direction, not just follow the same loop that's been holding you back. Discipline isn't destroyed by one big failure. It's chipped away little by little through unchecked thinking. One skipped workout, one late start, one compromise that leads to another. And it's not the behavior alone that matters. It's the thinking that allowed it. That's why you can't afford to ignore your mind. If your mind becomes a place where weak thoughts go unchallenged, then your discipline doesn't stand a chance. You have to build a habit of awareness. Throughout your day, catch yourself in moments of hesitation. Catch the thoughts that tell you to stop trying. Catch the mental shortcuts that try to justify average effort. And when you hear them, don't just let them pass. Talk back. Remind yourself of the truth. Remind yourself of what you committed to. Remind yourself that discipline is not about what you feel like doing. It's about doing what needs to be done. There's nothing wrong with having those weak thoughts. Everyone does. What matters is how you handle them. Do you agree with them, or do you challenge them? Do you let them set your pace, or do you override them with stronger decisions? That's where character is built. In that quiet mental battle between what's easy and what's necessary, over time, the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You start catching the lies faster. You start replacing weak thoughts with strong ones. You stop letting temporary feelings make permanent decisions. You train your mind to think like a leader, not a victim. Like someone who chooses direction, not someone who drifts with every emotional wave. You can't let your thoughts be the reason you stay the same. You can't keep believing the voice that tells you to lower your standards. Every time you push through a lazy thought, you make your mind stronger. Every time you reject a weak excuse, you reinforce your standards. That's how you sharpen your mental edge. Not by reading more, not by waiting for motivation, but by going head to head with the thoughts that try to steal your discipline. The better you get at this, the less energy you waste on internal battles. You stop having to fight the same doubts every day. You stop starting over. You stop making decisions based on how you feel in the moment. You become consistent. You become dependable. And nothing creates more confidence than being someone who follows through, even when it's hard, even when the thoughts say otherwise. This isn't about being perfect. You're going to slip. You're going to believe some thoughts that don't serve you. But the goal is to catch them sooner. To stop letting them drive your choices for days, weeks, or months. You shorten the gap between hearing the thought and correcting it. You build a stronger filter. You decide what thinking stays and what gets rejected. That's what mental strength really is. Not avoiding hard thoughts, but confronting them and making a better decision anyway. Every time you feel like giving up early, ask yourself, why? Where is that thought really coming from? Is it protecting you or limiting you? Is it about discomfort or danger? Because most of the time, it's just discomfort. And discomfort is not a reason to stop. It's a signal to stay focused, to lean in, to prove to yourself that your actions are not controlled by weak thinking. This takes work. It takes honesty. It takes a willingness to face the parts of your mind that try to hold you back. But once you build that discipline in your thinking, it reflects in everything else. You show up better. You lead stronger. You keep your word. You build real confidence. Not because you always feel strong, but because you've learned to question the thoughts that try to make you weak. Number 4, build a mindset that supports your long-term goals. The way you think on a daily basis either moves you closer to your long-term goals or pulls you away from them. Your mindset is the control center of your life. If your mind is filled with doubt, distraction, or short-term comfort, it becomes nearly impossible to stay focused on the future you want. That's why the kind of mindset you build matters more than how much you know or how talented you are. You can have all the tools, all the skills, all the resources, but if your mind is working against your goals, you will always find a reason to delay, give up, or shrink your efforts. Building a strong mindset isn't about forcing positivity or pretending things are easy. It's about developing clear thinking, strong values, and daily habits that match the future you say you want. A mindset that supports your long-term goals starts with being honest about what those goals really are. Too many people talk about big dreams, but think with fear, act with hesitation, and make choices that contradict everything they say they want. You cannot create a strong future with a weak way of thinking. If your thoughts are focused on escape, shortcuts, or constant comparison, you're not preparing for anything great. You're drifting. You need to train your mind to focus on direction, not just activity. Just being busy is not enough. You need to know where you're going, why it matters, and what it's going to take. And once you know that, you need to build a way of thinking that protects that path. This means saying no to things that pull you in other directions. This means becoming more selective with how you spend your time and energy. It means thinking long before reacting and making choices based on values instead of moods. A strong mindset isn't born out of comfort. It's built in moments where you could take the easy way, but choose the harder right. Every time you make a disciplined decision in favor of your future self, you are feeding a mindset that can handle more. Every time you delay gratification, every time you say yes to structure, every time you stick to the plan when no one's watching, you are wiring your brain to support your long-term vision. One of the biggest reasons people never build a solid mindset is because they're always reacting to life instead of shaping it. If you only think when things go wrong, if you only reflect when you're forced to, If you only focus when pressure hits, you will never build consistency. You have to train your mind to think clearly even on normal days. You have to develop mental discipline when things are calm, so when things get hard, you don't fall apart. It's not about waiting for a crisis to build clarity. It's about living every day with intention, even when it feels ordinary. You also need to watch who you're around. The people you spend the most time with shape your thinking more than you realize. If they always talk about quitting, escaping, or avoiding responsibility, that will rub off on you. If their focus is only on the present moment with no thought for the future, that will become your way of thinking too. You need to surround yourself with people who think in terms of growth, responsibility, and long-term decisions. People who plan, who stay consistent, who don't make excuses. That kind of thinking is contagious. And that's the kind of influence your mindset needs. To build a mindset that supports your long-term goals, you also need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Growth is not easy. It demands sacrifice. It will ask you to say no to things you once enjoyed. It will push you to make choices that feel lonely at times. It will stretch your patience, but all of that is part of the process. If you're always avoiding discomfort, you're avoiding development. A strong mind understands that pain is part of progress. Not all the time, but enough that you stop chasing only what feels good and start choosing what moves you forward. You also need to become someone who reflects often. Every week, look at your actions and ask yourself, are these habits supporting the future I want? Are my routines helping or hurting? Are my thoughts aligned with my values? Most people never ask those questions, and that's why they stay stuck. They let time pass without evaluating how they're using it. They keep repeating the same cycles without ever stepping back to see where it's leading. If you don't stop and think, your mindset won't grow. It will just repeat what's familiar. You have to commit to learning. A growth-oriented mindset is not fixed. It's always evolving. That means reading, listening, studying, and applying. Not for the sake of collecting ideas, but to become better at handling life. The more you understand yourself, the more control you gain over your reactions. The more you study discipline, mindset, and behavior, the more tools you gain to stay focused. You are not born with the mindset that helps you reach your goals. You build it brick by brick, choice by choice. Another part of building a strong mindset is learning to control your environment. Your surroundings shape your behavior. If your space is always cluttered, chaotic, or full of distractions, your mind will reflect that. You need to take control of your space. Keep it clean. Organize it to support your routine. Structure your day in a way that makes it easier to stick to the right behaviors. Set up reminders of your goals. Put your future in front of you, not behind you. Every little thing that supports your focus adds to the power of your mindset. A strong mindset also means understanding the difference between discipline and motivation. Motivation fades. It's based on how you feel. Discipline stays. It's built through action. Don't wait to feel like doing the work. Don't let your mood decide your progress. Decide what matters. Then build a mindset that says do it anyway. That kind of thinking takes practice, but over time it becomes who you are. Someone who keeps going. Someone who sticks to the plan. Someone who finishes what they start. You must also protect your mind from noise. Social media, news, and other people's opinions can drown out your focus. Limit the voices you let into your head. Be careful what you consume. Feed your mind what makes you better, not what keeps you distracted. Every time you choose learning over scrolling, silence over noise, clarity over chaos, you make your mind stronger. You are not here to live by accident. You are here to live on purpose. But purpose requires direction, and direction requires a mindset that holds steady, even when things around you change. If your goals matter to you, then your mindset must become your daily project. You build it through choices, through structure, through repetition, through reflection, through honest conversations with yourself. You don't wait for the mindset to come to you. You build it now while you work, while you struggle, while you show up every day with the future in mind. Number 5, direct your thoughts toward solutions, not constant problems. The way you handle problems reveals how you think. Some people stay stuck because they spend more time repeating the problem than they do searching for a way to fix it. If you want to move your life forward, you have to learn how to think beyond what's wrong and shift your focus toward what can be done. A problem-focused mind will drain your energy. A solution-focused mind will build your future. The difference is in the direction of your thoughts. One keeps you circling in place. The other gives you a way out. You have to train yourself to stop feeding the frustration and start thinking about what you can control. The longer you stay mentally tied to what's going wrong, the harder it becomes to see the steps forward. Even small problems start to feel heavy when you give them all your attention. And when you keep thinking in circles, your ability to take smart action weakens. You begin to react emotionally instead of acting intentionally. That's how people end up wasting time, making poor decisions, and repeating the same struggles. You have to interrupt that pattern. The moment your thoughts get stuck on the problem, pause and ask yourself, what can I do about this right now? Even if the answer is small, take that step. If there's something to learn from the problem, write it down. If there's a conversation you need to have, plan it. If there's an action you've been avoiding, do it. If there's nothing you can do at the moment, shift your focus to something productive. What matters is not what happens to you, but how long you let it dominate your thinking. People who grow quickly have one thing in common. They don't waste time complaining. They may feel the weight of problems, just like anyone else, but they don't live there. They don't sit with it longer than necessary. They get to work. They turn the problem into a plan. And they don't make their problem their identity. That's key. The more you talk about how hard things are, the more you reinforce a mindset that keeps you passive. You're either building momentum or building excuses. The strongest people mentally are not the ones without struggles. They're the ones who keep turning their attention back to what they can influence. When you think in terms of what now instead of why me, you shift your entire posture toward action. You build the habit of thinking with purpose instead of emotion. You stop being the victim of your own thoughts and start becoming the director of your energy. If you're facing a setback, don't keep going over what went wrong. That won't change anything. Ask yourself instead, how can I adjust? Where can I go from here? Who can help me improve this? What part of this is in my hands? Thinking like this doesn't erase the pain, but it gives you a way to rise through it. It gives you back your clarity. And when you think clearly, you act better. Another key is watching how you speak about your problems. If your words are always filled with blame, negativity, and doubt, your thinking will follow the same path. Your language reflects your mindset. That's why you need to practice speaking with direction. Say what you're going to do. Say what you're working on. Say what you're changing. When you speak in solutions, you train your brain to think with structure. You start expecting progress instead of failure. People often believe they need more motivation to move forward. What they really need is a better way of thinking. If your thoughts are always locked on what's missing or what went wrong, you'll never have enough energy to stay consistent. But if you can shift your mind toward progress, even in small ways, you begin to feel movement. You start feeling like your actions matter again. That feeling alone can restore your focus and strengthen your discipline. You also need to recognize when your mind is lying to you. Sometimes it says, this will never work, or you'll always struggle with this. That kind of thinking is not based on fact. It's based on fear. You don't have to believe every thought that shows up. Instead, challenge those thoughts. Ask, is that true? Ask, where's the evidence? Most of the time, the thought is just your fear pretending to be logic. Once you see that, you can stop obeying it and start thinking independently again. The discipline to think in solutions doesn't mean you ignore pain. It means you respect yourself enough not to stay in pain longer than you have to. It means you keep moving, even with questions, even with pressure. It means you've decided that your energy belongs to your progress, not your problems. That's a decision you make every day, not once, but every time your thoughts drift toward the frustration again. You must also learn to think in steps. Problems often seem overwhelming because we try to solve them all at once. You don't need to solve everything today. You just need the next right step. Solutions live in the details. Break things down. Simplify the mess. Identify what's urgent, what's important, and what can wait. When your thinking becomes more organized, your stress goes down and your clarity goes up. That's how you begin making smarter moves. One more thing. Stop comparing your problems to other people's lives. That creates a mindset of defeat. You start thinking, why is it easier for them? Or I'm behind. That doesn't help you solve anything. Everyone has private battles. Everyone is figuring it out. Focus your energy where it counts. On your own next step. Stay in your lane. Think in terms of progress, not perfection. You build mental strength every time you face a challenge, and choose to respond with clarity. Every time you notice yourself drifting into complaint or blame, and pull yourself back into responsibility, you're rewiring your thinking. That's how you build a mind that works for you, not against you. You begin to move forward not because life is easier, but because your thoughts are sharper. You don't wait for life to change. You start thinking like someone who changes life. Number 6. Choose thoughts that bring strength, not more confusion. Your thoughts shape how you feel, how you act, and how you live. Every day, your mind is filled with choices. What to focus on, what to believe, what to ignore, and what to take seriously. If you're not careful, your thoughts can work against you. One wrong thought, repeated enough times, becomes a belief. And that belief, even if false, can become the reason you stay stuck. That's why it's so important to become selective. Not every thought deserves your time. Not every idea that enters your mind should stay there. You have to choose which thoughts to build your life on. And the best ones are the ones that bring you strength. Strength in thinking doesn't mean pretending everything is okay. It means thinking in a way that helps you take control. It means guiding your thoughts with direction, instead of letting them wander into fear, doubt, and hesitation. Confused thinking creates mental noise. It leaves you feeling lost, unsure, and overwhelmed. You start to doubt your ability to act, even when the answer is simple. That's not how progress is made. If you want to grow, you need thoughts that push you forward, not ones that drain your confidence. Strong thinking gives you clarity. It helps you know what to do next. It reminds you that you've handled hard things before. It focuses your energy on your priorities. When you choose strong thoughts, you feel steady, even when life is uncertain. You become more decisive. You stop second-guessing yourself over and over again. And the clearer you think, the better your actions become. People who change their lives are not lucky. They've learned how to manage their thoughts and align them with their values. There's a question I often tell people to ask. Does this thought help me or hurt me? If it doesn't help, it doesn't belong. If it confuses, weakens, or distracts you, drop it. You don't have to entertain every doubt that shows up in your head. You don't need to debate with your fears all day. Your time is better spent focusing on what builds your strength. Things like self-respect, discipline, progress, learning, and responsibility. Those thoughts make you feel in charge again. They help you get back on your feet when you fall. You must learn to think for yourself. If you allow the world, social media, or negative people to fill your mind, you'll never hear your own voice. You'll be pulled in every direction. You'll be too busy trying to be everything to everyone that you forget what matters to you. When you think for yourself, you think with purpose. You think with standards. You don't just absorb. You examine. You reflect. You decide. That's the thinking of someone who wants to live with intention. You also have to watch how you speak to yourself. Your inner voice shapes how you see yourself. If that voice is always tearing you down, of course, you're going to feel confused. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about being honest in a way that helps you grow. You can say, I made a mistake, without saying, I'm a failure. You can admit you're struggling without telling yourself, I'll never get better. That difference in thinking can change everything. Choose the voice that builds you, not breaks you. Strong thoughts lead to strong decisions, and strong decisions lead to strong results. Every time you choose a thought that lifts your standards, you raise your potential. When you think with discipline, you act with discipline. When you think with patience, you stop rushing. When you think with vision, you stay focused. That's how powerful a single thought can be. It can be the start of a better habit, a better day, and eventually, a better life. Confusion usually comes from thinking in too many directions at once. You want something, but you're also afraid of failing. You know what to do, but you're waiting for the perfect moment. You want progress, but you're focused on what went wrong. That back and forth thinking wears you out. It creates mental pressure that leads to burnout. That's why you need to simplify. Get back to your values. Get back to your priorities. Ask yourself, what's most important right now? And then commit your thinking to that. Your mind needs leadership. Without direction, it will wander. It will chase distraction. It will replay worries that don't deserve your attention. You have to step in and take charge. You have to say, this is what I'm choosing to focus on today. You have to reject the thoughts that weaken you and replace them with thoughts that support your goals. That's not always easy, but it gets easier with practice. And over time, your entire mental environment becomes stronger. Another thing you have to be aware of is mental habits. Most people think in patterns without realizing it. If you're used to always expecting the worst, always doubting your choices, always putting yourself down, those patterns become automatic. But habits can be changed. It starts by noticing them. Pay attention to when your thinking brings stress instead of clarity. Then challenge it. Ask yourself, is there a better way to look at this? Usually there is. Usually the confusion isn't coming from the situation. It's coming from how you're thinking about it. People underestimate how powerful their thinking really is. They think thoughts are harmless, but nothing shapes your life more than the way you think day after day. Every goal you've ever hit or missed was first filtered through your thinking. Every decision you've ever made was influenced by what you believed at the time. If you want a better outcome, don't wait for life to change. Start by changing your thinking, and not just with positive words, but with practical direction. The people who move forward are the ones who keep their minds clear, even when life isn't. They decide what's worth thinking about and what's not. They don't hold on to every fear or every distraction. They focus. They build a mindset that's not full of noise, but full of direction. That's where the strength comes from. Not from hoping everything goes right, but from knowing they'll stay strong, even when it doesn't. And that's the kind of thinking you can choose today. Number 7. Develop control over your emotions through calm thinking. Emotions can be powerful. They can lift you up or pull you down in a moment's notice. When emotions take control, they can cloud your judgment and make simple problems seem overwhelming. The truth is, feeling emotions is natural. You are human. But letting emotions rule your decisions is a choice. You can learn to respond with calm, steady thinking. That is where true strength lies. Control over your emotions is not about ignoring them or pretending they don't exist. It is about managing how you react to them, so you don't lose sight of what matters. Think about the last time you felt angry or frustrated. Notice how quickly your mind raced, how your heart sped up, how your breath became shallow. These are real physical signs. They make it hard to think clearly in that moment. It's easy to say or do things you later regret. But when you train yourself to pause, to take a breath, and to look at the situation calmly, you create space. That space is where you find your power. You give yourself the chance to make better choices rather than reacting on impulse. Calm thinking isn't weakness. It is the opposite. It takes real courage and practice to slow down your emotions. It takes patience to listen carefully before you act. When you stay calm, your brain functions at its best. You see solutions you would have missed otherwise. You understand people more clearly. Your words become more thoughtful and impactful. And the people around you will notice the difference. They will respect your ability to stay steady when things get difficult. This control over emotions grows with awareness. First, recognize your emotional triggers. These are the things that push your buttons and cause an immediate reaction. For some, it's criticism. For others, it's stress or feeling ignored. Know what sets you off so you can prepare your mind. When you encounter these triggers, remind yourself to breathe deeply and focus on the facts instead of the feelings. Ask yourself, what is really happening here? That simple question can shift your mindset from emotional chaos to calm clarity. The way you think about your emotions also matters. Instead of saying, I am angry, try to observe it differently. Say, I am noticing anger in my body. This small change in language creates distance between you and your feelings. It helps you see emotions as temporary and separate from your identity. This shift allows you to choose how to respond. You don't have to be controlled by anger or fear. You can acknowledge it and then decide to act with reason. Building control over emotions is like building a muscle. It takes repetition and effort. When you practice calm thinking daily, it becomes easier over time. Start with small moments. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when a project doesn't go as planned, or when you face criticism. Instead of reacting quickly, take a breath, assess the situation, and respond calmly. Celebrate these moments as victory. Each time you choose calm, you strengthen your emotional control. Another important step is to create routines that support your emotional balance. Sleep, exercise, and proper nutrition all affect your ability to think clearly and manage feelings. When your body feels good, your mind follows. Also, develop habits like journaling or meditation that help you process emotions without letting them overwhelm you. These practices don't have to take hours. Even a few minutes of quiet reflection can make a big difference in how you handle stress and emotion. You must also understand that emotions are messages, not commands. They tell you something about your needs or your environment. For example, anxiety might be telling you to prepare more. Sadness might signal that you need rest or connection. By listening carefully, you can meet these needs instead of pushing them aside. When you honor your emotions with calm thinking, you avoid making decisions based on panic or frustration. When emotions are under control, your relationships improve dramatically. People respond better when you communicate calmly. You become a source of stability in your family, workplace, or community. Instead of escalating conflicts, you can resolve them. You build trust because others know you think before you act. This kind of emotional leadership is rare, but incredibly valuable. It creates an environment where growth and understanding can flourish. Learning emotional control also makes you more resilient. Life will always have challenges, but you won't be as easily shaken. You will bounce back faster from setbacks. You will stay focused on what matters instead of getting lost in emotional storms. Resilience isn't about avoiding pain or disappointment. It's about choosing to face those moments with steady thinking and a calm heart. A critical part of calm thinking is self-compassion. When you lose control of your emotions, don't beat yourself up. That only feeds the cycle of confusion and frustration. Instead, treat yourself kindly. Remind yourself that growth takes time and mistakes are part of learning. When you forgive yourself quickly, you reduce emotional overload and get back on track sooner. Self-compassion creates mental space for clearer thinking and better decisions. Finally, remember that emotional control is freedom. When you stop being a prisoner to every feeling that comes your way, you take back your power. You gain the ability to choose your path regardless of external chaos. Your mind becomes a tool for creating solutions, building relationships, and achieving goals. That kind of calm strength opens doors in every area of life. It is the foundation of a successful mindset and a fulfilled life. Number 8. Reject automatic thoughts that sabotage your daily progress. Every day, your mind sends you thousands of thoughts. Most of them happen without you even realizing it. These automatic thoughts form a mental habit that shapes how you feel and what you do. Some of these thoughts are helpful and encouraging, but many others are negative and damaging. They show up as doubts, fears, or excuses that stop you from moving forward. Learning to reject these harmful automatic thoughts is one of the most important skills for personal growth. It's the difference between getting stuck and making real progress in your life. Automatic thoughts are like mental noise that distracts you. They come from old habits, past experiences, or even what you've heard from others. Sometimes they are so quick you don't have time to question them. You might think, I can't do this, or this will never work, before your conscious mind even kicks in. These thoughts create a barrier between you and your potential. They hold you back by planting seeds of doubt and worry. But you don't have to accept these thoughts as truth. You have the power to reject them and replace them with better ones. The first step is becoming aware of your automatic thoughts. Pay attention to your inner voice. Notice what you say to yourself when faced with challenges or decisions. Many people never realize how negative or unhelpful their thoughts can be. This awareness gives you the chance to catch sabotaging thoughts before they take over. It's like shining a light on the dark corners of your mind so you can see what's really going on. Awareness is the key to change. Once you identify a negative automatic thought, don't let it pass without question. Ask yourself if it's really true. Often these thoughts are based on fear, habit, or old stories you tell yourself that don't match reality. Challenge these thoughts by looking for evidence that proves otherwise. For example, if your mind says, I'm not good enough, remind yourself of times when you succeeded or overcame difficulties. This questioning breaks the power of automatic negative thinking and creates space for more positive and productive thought. Replacing sabotaging thoughts requires practice and patience. It won't happen overnight because your mind is used to old patterns. But each time you stop a harmful thought and consciously choose a stronger, more supportive one, you build a new mental habit. For example, instead of thinking, I will fail again, say, I am learning and improving every day. These new thoughts become your mental foundation for taking action and staying motivated. The more you practice, the more natural it feels. Another important factor is understanding how emotions tie into your automatic thoughts. Negative thoughts often come with feelings of anxiety, sadness, or frustration. These emotions reinforce the thought, making it feel more real and urgent. When you reject the negative thought, also pay attention to the emotion it triggers. Acknowledge the feeling, but don't let it control you. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that feelings come and go, but your choice to think clearly stays with you. The way you start your day can greatly influence the automatic thoughts you experience. Mornings often set the tone for everything that follows. If you begin your day by reacting to worries or negative expectations, those thoughts will echo throughout the day. Instead, start with intention. Before your feet hit the floor, tell yourself you will notice and reject any negative automatic thoughts. Prepare your mind to focus on what you can control and to stay open to possibilities. This mental habit of readiness can protect you from being overwhelmed by destructive thinking. Creating a positive environment around you also supports rejecting negative thoughts. What you watch, listen to, and read influences your mindset. Surround yourself with uplifting messages and people who encourage you. Remove sources that feed doubt or pessimism. Your mind is like a garden. It grows what you plant and nurture. When you provide good seeds, the weeds of negative automatic thoughts have less room to grow. This environment gives you strength and confidence to keep moving forward. Daily journaling or writing down your thoughts can help you track and challenge automatic thinking patterns. When you write what you are thinking, you create distance between you and your thoughts. You become an observer rather than a victim. Review your journal regularly and look for recurring negative themes. This awareness allows you to prepare better responses and reject those thoughts before they affect your actions. Writing also serves as a reminder of your progress and growth over time. Remember that rejecting sabotaging thoughts is not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It is about choosing a mindset that focuses on solutions and progress rather than obstacles. When negative thoughts try to pull you down, remind yourself that they are just one possibility, not the only reality. You have the power to create a different story by what you allow yourself to believe and focus on. This choice leads to better decisions, more energy, and stronger motivation. This mental work of rejecting harmful automatic thoughts requires commitment. Your mind will resist change because it's comfortable with familiar patterns, even if they hurt you. Be patient and persistent. Celebrate every small victory when you catch a sabotaging thought and replace it with one that supports your goals. These moments build your mental muscle and make you stronger every day. Over time, you will notice your mindset shift. You will feel lighter, more hopeful, and more capable of handling challenges. In the end, the power to reject automatic thoughts that sabotage your progress lies within you. You are not a slave to your mind's habit. You can take control by paying attention, questioning, and choosing better thoughts. When you do this consistently, your progress accelerates. You become someone who moves forward despite fear, doubt, or setback. This mental clarity creates opportunities that were hidden before and opens the door to the life you want to build. Your daily progress depends on what you think and choose to believe. Make those thoughts work for you. Number 9. Think clearly before making choices that shape your life. Every choice you make matters. Some decisions might seem small in the moment, but they build up and direct the course of your life. When you think clearly before making a choice, you take control of your future rather than leaving it to chance. Clear thinking means slowing down, seeing the facts, understanding the consequences, and acting with intention. This is how you create a life that matches your values and goals. Thinking clearly is not just about logic or intelligence. It involves being honest with yourself about what you really want and what is important. Many people rush through decisions because of pressure, emotions, or distractions. They end up regretting their choices later because they didn't stop to think deeply. Taking the time to think clearly helps you avoid unnecessary mistakes and saves you from struggles that could have been prevented. When faced with a decision, start by gathering the right information. Don't make choices based on rumors, incomplete facts, or what feels easy at the moment. Understand what you are deciding on and what it will require from you. Think about the short-term and long-term effects. Ask yourself how this choice fits into the bigger picture of your life. This process helps you see beyond the surface and brings clarity to your thinking. It's natural to feel pressure or anxiety when making important decisions. These feelings can cloud your mind and push you toward quick reactions. When emotions run high, Take a step back. Give yourself a moment to breathe and calm down. Clear thinking thrives when your mind is quiet and focused. Avoid making choices when you are overwhelmed, angry, or rushed. The quality of your decisions depends on the state of your mind. Clear thinking also means being aware of your biases and personal blind spots. Everyone has mental habits or beliefs that influence how they see things. Some of these might limit you or lead you to false conclusions. Reflect on whether your thoughts are based on facts or assumptions. Check if you are ignoring important information because it doesn't fit your current views. This awareness helps you think with more honesty and fairness. Sometimes it helps to write down the pros and cons of a decision. Seeing your options on paper makes it easier to compare them and think through consequences. Writing slows down your mind and organizes your thoughts. This simple exercise is a powerful tool for clear thinking. It makes choices less overwhelming and gives you confidence that you have considered everything carefully. Don't be afraid to ask for advice from people you trust. Getting a different perspective can shine light on things you might have missed. However, be selective about whose advice you take. Not everyone has your best interest at heart, and some opinions might be clouded by their own fears or agendas. Use advice as a tool to support your thinking, not to replace your own judgment. The final decision must come from your own clear understanding. When you think clearly before deciding, you reduce the chance of regret. Regret often comes from realizing you didn't fully consider the consequences or didn't follow what you truly wanted. By taking control of your thinking, you make decisions that align with your values. This creates peace of mind and confidence in your path. You stop doubting yourself and start moving forward with purpose. Clear thinking and decision-making builds mental strength over time. Each good choice strengthens your ability to handle complexity and uncertainty. You train your mind to weigh options carefully, to resist impulsive reactions, and to stay focused on what matters most. This mental skill grows with practice and becomes a reliable part of who you are. Life's challenges become easier when you trust your own clear judgment. Sometimes clear thinking means accepting that no choice is perfect. Life is full of trade-offs. Waiting for the perfect answer can lead to paralysis and missed opportunities. Clear thinking helps you understand which trade-offs are acceptable and which are not. It guides you to make the best possible decision with the information you have right now. This balance of thoughtful action and realistic expectations moves you forward steadily. Your life is a collection of choices made one after another. Each clear decision builds the foundation for the next step. When you develop the habit of thinking clearly before making choices, you create momentum toward your dreams. You become a person who acts with intention and responsibility. This way of thinking is not something you are born with. It is a skill you can develop with effort and commitment. The way you think before making choices also affects how others see you. People respect those who make thoughtful decisions and take responsibility for their actions. Clear thinkers inspire trust and confidence. They attract opportunities and relationships that support growth. Your ability to think clearly becomes a magnet for success and positive influence in your life. The practice of clear thinking can start right now. When the next decision comes your way, don't rush. Pause, gather your thoughts, and ask the important questions. What do I really want? What are the possible outcomes? How does this fit with my values? What advice can I seek? What risks am I willing to take? This simple routine turns every choice into a chance to build a better life. As you make clear decisions, you will notice a change in how you feel inside. Confidence replaces doubt. Calm replaces confusion. You experience a quiet power that comes from knowing you are the one steering your life. This feeling is priceless because it shows you have control over your mind and your future. Clear thinking is a gift you give yourself every day. It protects you from unnecessary pain and regret. It opens doors to opportunities that others miss. It builds a foundation for happiness and success. This skill will guide you through uncertainty and help you stay true to who you want to become. Keep practicing this habit of thinking clearly before making choices. It's one of the most powerful ways to shape your life and fulfill your potential. Each clear decision you make is a step toward the life you deserve. Your future depends on what you choose today and how clearly you think while choosing. Number 10. Strengthen your focus by removing every mental distraction. Focus is the secret weapon for anyone who wants to make real progress in life. Without it, your best efforts get scattered and your energy drains fast. Every distraction, no matter how small, pulls your mind away from what truly matters. The ability to strengthen your focus by removing mental distractions is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter, fully present and fully committed to the task at hand. Distractions come in many forms: noisy environments, constant notifications on your phone, wandering thoughts, stress, and even self-doubt. When your mind is cluttered, your performance suffers and your results stall. That fog of distraction causes frustration and wastes valuable time. Imagine how much more you could achieve if your mind stayed sharp and clear like a well-tuned instrument. Strengthening focus means taking control of your mental space and guarding it fiercely. One of the first steps in this process is identifying what distracts you most often. These distractions can be external, like social media, emails, interruptions from others, or a noisy setting. They can also be internal, such as worries, daydreams, or unresolved problems that pop up uninvited. Recognizing these distractions is the foundation for removing them. It requires honesty to admit where your attention drifts and awareness to catch it quickly. Once distractions are identified, create an environment that supports deep focus. This may mean turning off your phone or putting it on silent. It could require closing unnecessary tabs on your computer or finding a quiet space to work. Some distractions demand physical action, decluttering your workspace or setting clear boundaries with people around you. When you design your surroundings to protect your focus, your brain can lock in on your work without being pulled away. Mental distractions are tougher because they come from within. Stress, doubts, and scattered thoughts create a storm in your head. You can't always control what comes to your mind, but you can control how long you entertain those thoughts. When distracting thoughts arise, practice acknowledging them briefly and then letting them go. Techniques like deep breathing or quick mindfulness moments help clear mental clutter. This trains your mind to return to focus faster. Focus grows stronger when you practice it regularly, like a muscle. Start with short periods of dedicated concentration and gradually increase the time. This builds mental stamina. For example, work deeply for 25 minutes and then take a brief break. Repeat this cycle to maintain sharpness. Over time, your mind adapts to staying focused longer and resisting distractions. It's a process that rewards consistency and patience. Avoid multitasking. Trying to juggle several things at once fragments your attention and decreases the quality of your work. Focus on one task at a time, giving it your full effort. This approach not only produces better results, but also reduces mental fatigue. When your mind is fully invested in a single activity, you tap into a deeper level of clarity and efficiency. Setting clear priorities is essential for maintaining focus. When you know what matters most, it's easier to say no to distractions that do not serve your goals. Clarify your daily or weekly objectives and remind yourself why they are important. This sense of purpose acts like a magnet, pulling your attention toward productive efforts and away from distractions. Purpose-driven focus feels meaningful and energizes your mind. Physical health plays a significant role in mental focus. Lack of sleep, poor nutrition, and inactivity reduce brain function and make distractions harder to resist. Taking care of your body by sleeping well, eating balanced meals, and exercising regularly sharpens your mind. When you feel physically strong, your mental focus becomes more resilient. The connection between body and mind cannot be ignored if you want to maximize your attention. Your habits also impact your ability to focus. Habits that encourage procrastination or distraction weaken your mental control. Habits such as checking your phone first thing in the morning or watching TV before starting work train your brain to seek entertainment instead of effort. Replace these habits with rituals that prepare your mind for focus. Reading something inspiring, setting clear goals for the day, or meditating briefly. Positive habits build a strong foundation for concentration. Sometimes mental distractions come from negative self-talk or doubts about your ability to succeed. These thoughts undermine confidence and pull your focus away from the task. Recognize these thoughts as unhelpful noise. Challenge them by reminding yourself of past successes and your capacity to grow. Replace doubt with encouraging and truthful thoughts that empower your focus. Your mindset plays a huge role in maintaining attention. Technology can be both a help and a hindrance. Use tools that support focus, like apps that block distracting websites or timers that encourage work intervals. However, be cautious not to become dependent on devices that constantly demand your attention. Manage technology. Don't let it manage you. Control what notifications come through. And when you check them, setting limits frees your mind to stay present and sharp. Regular breaks are essential. Mental fatigue is a real barrier to sustained focus. Taking short breaks allows your brain to recharge and return refreshed. Use breaks to move your body, get fresh air, or drink water. Avoid jumping onto your phone or social media during breaks, because that can extend distractions. Breaks should restore your energy and prepare you for the next period of deep work. Building focus by removing distractions is not a one-time task, but a lifelong commitment. Every day you protect your attention, you grow stronger and more capable. You will notice your work improves, your stress decreases, and your confidence rises. Focus becomes a habit that powers your success in every area of life. The more you value your attention, the more you value your results and your future. When distractions arise, remind yourself why focus matters. It is the bridge between your goals and your achievement. Each moment you resist distractions is a moment you invest in yourself. This is how ordinary people do extraordinary things. The difference lies in the power to say no to what pulls you away and yes to what builds your dreams. Keep building your ability to focus every day. Protect your mind like it is your most valuable asset, because it is. As your focus sharpens, so will your ability to think correctly, act intentionally, and create the life you want. No one else can do this for you. Strengthen your focus. Remove every distraction, and watch how your world begins to change.